Hey everybody, it's Gluttony, and today I'll be telling you 4 reasons why you should read Stephen King's It. It is about a group of children living in Derry, Maine in the late 50s, I believe early 60s. And after the death of Georgie, the little brother of one of the main characters, the children come to the crazy realization that their town is being preyed upon by Pennywise, a terrifying being that feeds off the fear and flesh of children. Our losers are able to band together and defeat Pennywise, or so they think, because after 27 years, one phone call changes all of that. Now they have to band together and go back to Derry and face childhood trauma, old bullies, and the terrifying jaws of Pennywise. Reason number 1, the characters. I feel like I say this about every Stephen King novel, but the characters in It are truly one of his greatest characters, and I love them. Our group of 7 includes Bill, who is the leader of the group, who lost his brother Georgie to Pennywise all those years ago, Richie, who is the funny man, Ben, who's the architect, Eddie, the hypochondriac, Beverly, who is the girl, Mike, who is the librarian, and Stan Uris. I don't want to give too much away about the characters without spoiling too much, but I can honestly say I love these characters so much. We get to see them both as children and as adults, and it's very interesting seeing what happens to these characters, to see how they deal with trauma, how they interact with each other, and how they band together to defeat Pennywise. Now, we get to see them as children in the 50s, and the way King writes their childhood is very rose-colored, you could say. Swimming in the lake, making dams, going to the movies, but at the same time, he also doesn't hide the darkness of the era as well, about the racism and sexism and all the stuff that's happening in the 50s. It's interesting, though, to see it through the eyes of a child, so I definitely think that's very, very cool. Derry. Reason number 2 is Derry. So something you are going to see a lot and read a lot throughout the book is about Derry. Derry is a fictional town, is the fictional town in Maine that the children grew up in and return to later in the book. It's not just a town, but it's almost like a character. Through the course of the book, you get to read a lot about the town, thanks to Mike, who is the only one from the group that stayed in Derry and became the town's librarian. You learn about the dark and vile history of the town, and it starts to make you wonder, is the town cursed, or does it play a bigger role? And why did Pennywise choose this specific town? It almost makes it feel very interconnected, like that the children had no way of escaping from the moment they came to this town. Reason number 3, Pennywise. It, or better known as Pennywise, is one of the best villains, and I feel a lot of people share that statement. Whether you like the story or not, you cannot deny that Pennywise has found its way into the fictional villains Hall of Fame. The shape-shifting monster that feeds off the fear of children has the ability to take the shape of what you fear. Anytime Pennywise is on the page, you feel your heart racing. You can hear the blood rushing to your ears because it's intense. And King has the amazing ability to create terrifying villains. And Pennywise is one of his more malicious creations. He's a predator. He likes to terrify and play with his food. He chases the gang and stalks them, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. Even when Pennywise is not in the scene, you can feel his presence. He's in the minds of these kids. He's always going to be there. You can never forget him, and you feel that fear. He's such an overwhelming presence. Reason number 4, the meaning. I believe I also said this in a previous Stephen King video, The Long Walk, which I'll link in the description below. But when talking about the meaning of it, a lot of readers have their own different opinions. Some say it's about childhood trauma and having to find a way to overcome it. Others say it's a coming of age story. And personally, I think it's about the darkness and ugliness of humanity and how we try to cover it. But I think the great thing about Stephen King books is that when you're reading, or in general, just reading, no one experienced a book the same way, and it doesn't even seem like it's the same book when you read it a second time. So one of the things I would say about reading this book is that it makes you think about a lot of things, about Pennywise, about these kids, about how trauma is dealt with, about how fear is dealt with. And I definitely feel like, having read it a second time, now that the movie is going to be coming out, I feel like in like 6 months, I wanted to get ahead of the curve. I definitely did not. I picked up on a lot more things than I did on my first read. So that's it for this episode, everyone. Thank you so much. I really hope you pick up the book. Do not be intimidated by its big size, because in all honesty, once you get reading, it just blows away. And if you want me to talk about any other book or any other series or any other movies, please write it down below. Thank you so much, and see you next time. Bye.